get up and leave, because that's ridiculous.
Anybody want butterscotch?
I'll take another white one.
Security
Station.
screen, I thought it worked pretty
Mark's,
good.
I drove it for a week, and just trying to get some miles on it. Mark's gonna drive it the rest of the week, try to get up to 1,000 miles or so on it. Kind of break down all that before we just get it'll be,
I don't, I'm just talking to you.
station one just like
Anybody want a butterscotch or a peppermint?
trying to get 1,000 miles on it or so.
Would somebody pass those down, please?
668.
It's all sugar up.
Great. It's a gasser, it's not a diesel. Diesel. Right. Not worth another 10 grand.
Like 19, but
You did have a lot of damage, or you didn't?
just trees, some of the people with the wooden fences, they got blown down, but
I would just move. I would
The other
just
side of the
stay.
18 would
I would just get out of there.
It's 6 o'clock, are we ready? Are we ready, you guys?
I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you'd please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which
Go to Catholic Church. I'm a right-to-lifer. I've seen 3 politicians in this particular county that probably have sold their soul to the devil with regard to Proposition 3. Getting on television and saying, vote for Proposition 3, the murdering of babies. I was told a statistic that in state of Michigan, Trump won Michigan by 60,000 votes. I also was told that Genesee County had 100,000 votes for Trump. Does that mean that Genesee County put Trump over the threshold so that he took Michigan? Thank you, Genesee County, and thank you for all those Democrats that were not swayed by the UAW and their leaders stating the fact that they should vote, in other words, for a Democratic Party. Their jobs were in jeopardy, in other words, if it went the other way. They opened up their eyes, that veil that was across their eyes, like Saul on his way to Damascus. But basically, the scales were taken off their eyes and they could actually see what was going on. I'm an American. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a Republican. And I did vote for Democrats. But I voted for the person, not the party. I'm a Christian. Every day, for probably the last 30 days prior to that election, I got on my knees and I prayed to take away that veil that was across this country. Their eyes, that they were shut and they couldn't open up their eyes and they couldn't see what was happening to this country. Borders, crime in the streets, everything. This past 4 years was a disgrace to our country. Maybe a veteran and having to fight, in other words, for my country. Called to duty for 3 times when I was in the service. I'm sure glad. You know something? I'm going to do a Trump dance because I'm so happy. God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?
Here I go.
Kevin Stiff. I own the dive shop on Corona Road. I'm also a resident. I've been in this township been in business for 39 years. Been in this township for the same amount of time. I'm going to go in a little bit of different direction. I didn't make the last meeting, but I made the meeting before that. Kevin McIntyre, our comptroller, I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. Good job. He's a good guy. Greg King, a couple other people got in a little bit of an argument over what it costs for a fireman or a police officer. And there was a few things stated. Base salary, around $62,000 to start. But that figure got kicked around. It was $120,000 was thrown out, $140,000. By the time the end of the year, up to $170,000. I don't know about the rest of you guys. But what happened to the $62,000? I don't understand where our money is going. You know, there's a part of this township that can afford that, but 3/4 of this township are moms and pops, grandma and grandpas that live in a lot of these smaller homes. They can't afford this. Now, what are you people thinking? $140,000 to $160,000 in benefits? Where is this money going to? I took home the paperwork on the budget for last year. I looked at that budget for 2 weeks. I used felt markers to underline everything. I don't know if the rest of you people on the board looked at the budget, but we're pretty much broke. Where in the heck are we getting the money from? And I don't know if the people in this township realize it, but we're pretty much broke. Do you know next year's budget, where we're at? What'd Kevin McIntyre tell you guys where we're gonna be? Where's the deficit next year? Where's that at? Now, all you board members make someplace around, I thought it was $7,000 a year. But I was just told that you make a lot more than that, you know? Last 6 months, in lawyers' fees, 115,000, I may be wrong, this is just what I was told. Money spent. Where's that money coming from? You know? Some of the treasurer, the clerk, how many hours is a clerk putting in a week? Where's she doing her job? The treasurer, how many hours a week is he putting in? Does the township, do the people in the township know how many hours and how much her salary is? Is that being money well spent?
FOIA request.
Is that anything that's going on? And then one other thing, Kevin Salter, our police chief, the accreditation for the police department. Now, in another year, that comes due again. Are we going to spend the money and all the man hours to do that accreditation again? These are things that this township has to look at. It has to be looked at.
Thank you,
This is
Kevin.
money wasted, and you people have to look at this.
Thank you, Kevin. Would anyone else like to address the board? Anybody? Come on up. So we ask that you'd give us your name, and you'll have 4 minutes to address the board. And you-
Okay, my name is Jerry Banks. I don't actually live in the community, but I do business in the community. I'm in the process of developing a boxing and wellness academy at the Genesee Valley Mall there, and I'm here because I want to know what's going on there. Because it's like we don't have any business going on. There's so many vacant spots in that facility. You know, if we don't have any business, we don't have any job for our citizens in the community. So I just want to know, where are we going with that? You know, I know Christmas is coming up and the mall is pretty much bare, and we have other shopping centers, but you know, myself, I go outside and I shop like in other bigger cities, like Somerset Mall, you know, they have the Oakland Mall and others like that, because we don't have no variety here. But I want to know what is the board doing about getting business in our community? What are you doing to bring some kind of appeal to our city? And that's all I want to, you know, ask about.
So this isn't a question answer time,
Yeah.
but before you leave, my business card's out there in the lobby, and you can give me a call and we can talk more. There are some things that are going on, but now's not the time. So if you'd like to give me a call, I can talk with you then.
And in your name?
Karen Miller.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board? No? So we will close public comment and we'll move on to reports. Two things I wanted to mention, maybe three. Thursdays are our garbage pickup, and Thanksgiving Day is always on a Thursday, so that pushes our pickup to Friday. That will be the last day this season, this year, for yard waste pickup. So Friday after Thanksgiving, there'll be recycling, garbage pickup, and yard waste, and then it's suspended. Yard waste pickup is suspended till the first Thursday in April. So I wanted to make you aware of that. 2 is, I saw a video on Facebook. It was a gentleman who was cleaning the gutter in front of his house to clear his catch basin. There was flooding. He removed all the leaves, and then all the water could get to the catch basin. So I'm reminding everybody with the fall and all the leaves having fallen with twigs and stuff, please keep your catch basins in front of your house clear. I know it's not fun, but it will prevent a lot of damage to many different things if you make sure the water gets to the catch basins. And lastly, next Monday, 11/25, November 25th at 5 p.m., we're going to be having a budget workshop, and it's open to the public. Anybody is invited to come. 5 o'clock. I don't know how long. It shouldn't be more than an hour or two. Okay. Anyhow, that's open to the public. That's next Monday at 5 p.m. That's my report this evening. Madam Clerk, do you have a report this evening?
Sure. So, the clerk is usually here Monday through Thursday from 8 to 5 or somewhere in between there. With us just having an election, we had 9 days of early voting. I think it was a resident that was wondering where the clerk was. The clerk was here running the election. We had 9 days of early voting from October the 26th to November the 3rd. And then we had the election on November the 5th. Okay? So the clerk was here in the township. I don't know if you were looking for me or not, but I was here. We had 15,680-something voters that actually voted. We had a little over 4,000 early voters that came between October 26th and the 3rd. We had a really good turnout. We were proud of that. So the early voting is starting to catch on, and actually I think it really made a difference with the lines and maybe not having as many people vote, but we had quite a few to come out on the election date. I'd like to thank our police department for their assistance during the election time, as well as our fire department, all of the election workers, along with the trustees that actually assisted with the early voting and processing ballots. Overall was a success, and the election was certified on yesterday at 6 o'clock by the Board of Canvassers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's good information. Mr. Treasurer, do you have a report for us this evening?
Yes, I have a couple of them. One being that the, our interest updates for all of our accounts, we're pulling those to. Sorry about that. Our interest updates on our accounts that we've put out in the past 12 months, we're looking at the third quarter being brought into us, and we're going to give an estimate based on the entire fourth quarter what it would be. We do know and have already been informed that some interest rates are going to be pulled back because of the Feds lowering that. Secondly, we are looking to open a couple additional interest bearing accounts. We've been analyzing and reviewing those, and Kevin and I will be making the decisions. We actually have a conference call tomorrow at 10:30 with Huntington Bank and one with FC next door, who are both vying for some of our interest money. So those, I plan to give you all of that information in the first board meeting in December. And I have one item on the agenda.
Thank you. Are there any trustee reports this evening?
I'd like to just say one
Yes.
quick one. I'd like to let everyone know that our trunk or treat was a huge success again this year. It just seems like this event keeps growing, and a special thanks for our police and fire for helping us out again. We really appreciate that. And I don't know the exact number. Our follow-up meeting is next week, but every year it just keeps getting bigger.
It's really nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of people there.
A lot of people there.
Thank you, Trustee Fafdahl. Any other trustee reports? We'll move on to staff reports.
Thank you, Board. Since last board meeting on October 19th, the police department has responded to 2,384 total calls. This number includes 1,586 primary calls, 798 backup calls. Over the same period, there were 26 shifts where an officer responded to 15 or more calls in one day, and one shift where an officer responded to 22 calls in one 12-hour shift. On November 9th, 2024, at approximately 11:40 p.m., we responded to 3131 South Elms Road at the VFW Hall. The hall was actually rented out for a late teen's birthday party. Several unwanted visitors showed up, and there was immediate confrontation inside the hall. The two groups exchanged gunfire from the building and the parking lot. While we were on scene, a 21-year-old man was driven to the hospital who had been shot while he was in the parking lot at the hall. He was listed in good condition and had surgery later that day. He admitted to investigators to shooting, but said he was simply returning fire after being shot at first. The 19-year-old man who drove the victim to the hospital actually had 2 pistols in his vehicle, so he was lodged at the Genesee County Jail for carrying a concealed weapon, and this investigation is still ongoing. On November 14, 2024, we responded to the 4400 block of Brennanshire in Cambridge Square, also for a shooting. A 53-year-old man shot a 31-year-old man in what is believed to be a robbery gone bad at the back door of an apartment. A gun was recovered inside of the suspect's apartment during a search warrant, and also this investigation is ongoing. On November 16, 2024, we responded to the 3000 block of Claude Avenue at a motel for a disturbance. The employees called asking the police to help vacate a room of several people. When Officer Brooks attempted to take a 22-year-old woman into custody for disorderly conduct, she pulled away and swung her purse at him. Thankfully for Officer Brooks, the purse missed him, but she struck Sergeant McCallum on the left side of her face. The suspect was taken into custody and lodged at the Genesee County Jail. On November 17th, we responded to Lindenwood Farms subdivision for several vehicles that had been broken into. A 16-year-old boy was breaking into unlocked vehicles and stole a vehicle that had the keys in the center console. We later located this vehicle on Miller Road, and a brief vehicle pursuit began. The vehicle crashed at Miller and Linden, and the boy was taken into custody and lodged at the Genesee County Juvenile Justice Center. And then lastly, Officer Shane Conkle, just the other day, completed the field training program, and he has started solo patrol. And I do not have any items for the agenda.
Chief Beckley?
Thank you. Since the last board meeting, your fire department has responded to 84 incidents. Included in this number is 7 structure fires, 2 vehicle fires, and 1 vehicle accident with entrapment. Right now, year to date, we are at 1,232 calls for service, and also 11 times since the last board meeting, we've had overlapping calls or multiple incidents going on at the same time. A couple of the highlights: on 10/26, we responded to a structure fire in the 2300 block of Ella Drive in Myrtle Grove Mobile Home Park. Crews arrived to find a mobile home completely involved in fire. Crews are working on this incident for about two and a half hours to completely extinguish that fire. Cause of that fire is still under investigation at this time. This is about the 3rd fire we've had in that mobile home park in the past 6 weeks or so. On November 14th, we responded to a mutual aid assist to Swartz Creek Area Fire Department in the 8100 block of Corona Road. Our crews assisted with extinguishing a single family home that was on fire there, and assisted with overhaul for about two and a half hours on scene. Unfortunately, in this incident, one occupant of that home did not survive. So our thoughts are out, thoughts and prayers to the family and also to the Swartz Creek Fire Department as they work through that. On the 16th, we responded to the 6100 block of River Road, right in the curve. Fire crews were called to a multiple vehicle accident, and 1 vehicle that was on fire. Upon arrival, 1 vehicle was found to have left the roadway, hit a tree, and was in a vacant lot on fire, about 150 feet off the road. This fire is quickly brought under control, and was just 1 vehicle and some trees that were involved there. Just as another reminder, there are no burning of leaves in Flint Township. Again, this is against the ordinance and actually against state law as well. So please do not burn your leaves in the township. It creates a huge smoke issue, and it's really not nice to your neighbors. So just a reminder on that. An update to our ladder truck. The repairs are just about complete. It should be back to us this week if all goes well. They're waiting on a couple of last minute parts, but the repairs from its accident back in June are about done. So we're happy to have that back. And as an update to our utility truck that was purchased about a month, 6 weeks ago now, that arrived last Friday, and we are just working on getting the last of the equipment on it, getting that broken. But that is also here. So thank you to the board for that. Right now, our crews are working on our SCBA, our self-contained breathing apparatus annual testing and mask testing. This is a required labor-intensive task that we have to test and inspect every one of our masks and our breathing apparatus in the entire department. So our guys are working on that. And we'd like to also thank Planet Fitness, who back in September graciously donated 6 large workout machines to our department as part of a public safety program that they have. When they replace their equipment, they donate it to local police and fire departments in the area. So we just want to thank them for some of the equipment that they donated to our departments this year. And I have one item on the agenda this evening. That's all.
Thank you. Controller McIntyre, do you have a report this evening
I do not have a report, but I do have budget amendments.
on the agenda?
Agenda.
And you'll be at our budget workshop next meeting, leading the way, right? Alrighty, do we have any committee reports? Sure.
Good evening, Board. I'm John Whiteside, Secretary of the Road Advisory. We had a meeting earlier today, 3 o'clock, and our road projects for this year are completed. We had Trotwood Lane, that's all completed, except there's some work to do behind the curb and gutters. We actually had a resident show up and talk about he had a concern with that, and Mike Pfeiffer was gonna go look at that, but that's not uncommon to have some, work to do around the road after the project complete. Trotwood went from Pickwick up around the corner on Trotwood down to where it meets the other end of Pickwick. Did around that corner, and then there was a south end of Pickwick where it went around the corner. We added that to the project. We have funding to do that. Scottwood Lane was the other big project. That went from Fenton Road down to the school, Fenton Lawn, I think it's Fenton Lawn down there. And then there's a street there that runs in front of the school. It's a short little street, and we had added that to the project because we had funds to do that. So those turned out really well. We did the permazyne in the Bronx. We'll keep an eye on how that's working out. And we're looking at projects for next year. We're looking at the Linden Maple Road area. Those roads back in there. There's a ton of roads that need work, and there's only limited dollars to use, so we'll do what we can.
John, you forgot to mention, Mike told us that he did projects under budget.
Yes, that's true. Projects came in under budget. He said Flagstone came in under budget.
$242 under budget.
The other projects we did for the township, those came in under budget. So we'll have a few dollars left over we can carry into next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Move on to number 8, Mr. Treasurer.
Yes, ma'am, sorry about that. I was writing still under the budget. Trustees, you should have received copies of the invoices and disbursements via the email. You can also receive the hard copies and take a look. We've invoices in the amount of $4,535,000. Sorry, Mr. Roberts, apologize. I'll start all over. Respected board and members in the audience, trustees, you should have received copies of the invoices and disbursements that were sent to you email, and you may also look at those hard copy. We've invoices in the amount of $4,535,371.36 authorized by the budget and purchasing policies of the township. In addition, we have tax distributions in the amount of $300,763.50, which is as well as a total of $4,836,134.86 in invoices and tax disbursements. That would be my motion.
Is there a second to the motion to pay the bills?
I'll second it.
Are there any questions for Mr. Treasurer? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call please on the motion to pay the bills in the amount of $4,535,371.36.
Trustee Burt?
No.
Trustee Fabdal?
Yes.
Supervisor Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Leverett?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Treasurer Clee?
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, no.
Number 9, are there any correspondence or informational items, Madam Clerk?
No.
We can move on to new business. A is to set the public hearing for the 2025 budget to approve the Appropriations Act resolution. That'll be at our December 2nd meeting. We'll have a public hearing. We have to make sure that gets published in the newspaper. So all those in favor of setting the public hearing for December 2nd at the regular meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Action item B is a final reading on the rezoning case. You have that information before you. I believe that was submitted by Tracy Tucker. To it. Nope, it was submitted by Chris Cronin.
Yes.
So would someone like to make a motion to move forward on this?
Cleve would move to, Cleve would move to accept the recommendation of the second reading to vote upon this, an ordinance to amend Chapter 14 of the Code Ordinances of the Charter Township of Flint as presented. Parcels PZ Paul Zebra Charlie 24-0002, address being 4150 Van Slyke Road.
We have a motion. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll make a second.
Do we have any discussion on this?
I'm gonna be voting no because there are businesses inside this building. I asked the planning commission what they were. I haven't gotten any answers on that, so I will be voting no.
Any further discussion?
May I speak? Does that own property?
No, he can't.
No, not right now. You're gonna have your opportunity to speak when it comes before the planning commission, because we're just doing the zoning right now. Yep. Is there any further discussion on the final reading of the rezoning here? No? We have a motion and a second on the second reading to approve amending Chapter 14 of the Code of Ordinances of Charter Township of Flint, Genesee County, Michigan, in accordance with and under the authority of Act Number 110 of the Public Acts of Michigan for 2006, as amended, known as the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act. And so it would be rezoning the parcel 07-35-200-015. If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the approving of the rezoning.
Supervisor Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Vert?
No.
Trustee Fabdahl?
Yes.
Trustee Leverett?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Treasurer Clee?
Yes.
So that was approved as presented. And I know we'll see you at the Planning Commission. Action item C is the 2024 Winter Tax Roll Special Assessment Certification. You have that before you. We have Controller McIntyre here. While he didn't present this, a lot of the items on here he's knowledgeable about. Motion would be in order to move forward. Or not.
Lee would move to accept the resolution as presented as the assessment for the certification of the 2024 winter tax rolls as we received them.
I'll second it.
Could you throw in the word certification to the tax roll?
Thought I
for-
said that. 2024 winter tax roll special assessment certification per the presented resolution.
Thank you. And you second it? Are there any questions regarding the certifications? No? None?
Kevin, do you mind explaining to the, for the audience's benefit, what we actually are doing with these dollars? You don't mind? As being certified to the tax rolls?
Essentially, it has to do with any invoices that would be outstanding. So if your parcel was billed for cutting the grass during the summer and you didn't pay it, it is liened to your taxes. Another instance would be a sewer and water bill. If you haven't paid your sewer and water bill, it would be liened over to the taxes. The other special assessments are for roads. If you have your road paid, you then need to pay the assessment, so you have an opportunity to pay it in advance. And if you don't choose to pay it in advance, then it goes under your taxes, and it's just included in, as a line item in your taxes. So you have your regular tax, and then there's a special assessment line. And it also covers things like garbage, streetlights. There's just a plethora of all the different things, the benefits that you receive at your parcel is done as a special assessment.
Thank you.
Jinx. There are several of these on the list, and if folks want to see it, they can. Listing, like Controller McIntyre stated, streetlights, garbage, delinquent water, delinquent tap ins, property maintenance, all the way down to properties within District 104, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, which are road placement situations. So it's all available here if you'd like to see it.
So we have a motion and a second to certify the special assessments to the 2024 winter tax roll. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Trustee King,
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Trustee Leverett,
Yes.
Trustee Favdal,
Yes.
Trustee Burt,
Yes.
Supervisor Miller,
Yes.
Treasurer Klee.
Yes.
Thank you.
Action item D is the purchase replacement and additional fire equipment. Chief Beckley?
Thank you. After careful consideration and evaluation of our equipment, we'd like to purchase approximately $48,140 worth of equipment to continue to upgrade outdated equipment and properly outfit our apparatus. Included in this is what's called the Hearst Combi tool, which is a Jaws of Life a tool. It's a all-in-one instead of having three different pieces. So this is an all-in-one a tool that comes with about $3,500 worth of equipment in a combination kit. A scene light, a battery-operated ventilation fan, and 4 new what we call RIP packs. They are for firefighter rescue, firefighter survival situations. Our current ones are aged, and they are actually for our previous air tanks that we use, so they are not completely compatible the way that they should be. So this will help to bring us to fully compatible with our breathing apparatus and also the RIP packs that would have to come in and help rescue a downed firefighter in those situations. So the total for this equipment is $48,140, and I have included all of the quotes as well. So again, all this equipment is necessary to properly outfit all of our apparatus with modern, compatible equipment. And after discussing this with Controller McIntyre, we recommend that this purchase be taken out of the insurance funds from the totaled fire engine. So therefore, I'd like to request the Township Board approve the purchase of the above equipment.
A motion will be in order to move forward.
I'll make a motion to move forward with the replacement and additional fire equipment purchase as presented for a total of $48,140.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions for Chief Beckley? I have 2 questions.
Sure.
The RIP packs, do those go on, they get transported on the fire trucks wherever you go, right?
They do, yes. So that will put one on all 3 of our lead fire engines out of all three stations, and also the ladder truck, since those vehicles could all potentially respond individually to a reported fire. It's important that they all be outfitted appropriately.
And then the battery-operated ventilation fan, is that for scenes or is it for the station?
Nope, that's for scenes. Traditionally, we have corded electric fans that we've had to run off of the generators on the fire trucks. We've slowly been transitioning over the last about 3 years to battery-powered fans, which lasts us about 45 minutes of runtime before we have to put an extension cord to them. So the fire service is slowly transitioning to more of a battery-powered industry just because of ease and also maintenance. So this will put four of them in our department. This fan in particular is a little bit bigger than the other 3 that we have, again, more for the commercial settings that the ladder truck will be responding to. So that's the reason for this one.
Thank you. Any further questions or discussion?
I have one. Well, you mentioned it, and I just want to clarify. So the units are being charged while they are on the vehicle and as the vehicle is operating, and then you run it out for 45 minutes, and if it does run down, they are capable of just, if necessary, and the situation still presents out, you can run a cord to them and keep them running in that effect.
Yep. Absolutely. So all of our battery equipment, for the most part, on the newer fire engines, they actually charge while the fire trucks are plugged inside of the fire stations, and they also have inverter systems on them that charge them while the fire truck is either on the road or on scene as well. So they're basically a self-sufficient vehicle that can power, recharge, all of those things. Yep.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the motion to purchase replacement and additional equipment. in the amount of $48,140 to be taken from the reimbursed insurance funds from the totaled fire engine. We restricted that for equipment,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
Trustee Leverett,
Yes.
trustee Vert,
Yes.
trustee Fabdoll,
Yes.
trustee King,
Yes.
supervisor Miller,
Yes.
treasurer Clee,
Yes.
and clerk Triplett, yes.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you. Action item E, I'm sorry, is the 2024 budget amendments. You have that in front of you from Controller McIntyre. And it's my understanding that the entire motion needs to read as presented here.
Yes, so I have to break it out by individual accounts so that everyone can see the amounts and the budget numbers. But the paragraph at the end is the most important part. You have to read it as I've put in there, because you must also include the department number when you're doing budget amendments. So I've summarized the amounts, so you don't have to go line by line to say each one of those individual lines. But at the end, it's just the different departments need those amounts adjusted.
Who'd like to make that motion?
I'll gladly read it if no one else wants to. The resolution is to approve the amendments in the 2024 budgets for additional revenue and expenditures in the General Fund Revenue Department 000 for $720,000. In the General Fund Township Board Department 101 for $3,500. In the General Fund Accounting Department, sorry, I'm marking each one off. 109, Accounting Department number 191 for $29,700. And the General Fund Professional Services Department, number 210, for $102,000. In the General Fund Insurances Department, 211 for $30,000. In the General Fund General Operating Department, number 250, in the amount of $180,000. In General Fund Election Commission Department, 262 for $81,000. In the General Fund Township Hall and Grounds, line item 265 for $62,000. In the General Fund Police Department, 301, in the amount of $88,000. In the General Fund Police Gain Department, to the tune of, the amount of $91,570. In the General Fund Fire Department, line item 336 for $199,400.
So for the police department and game department, did you read the number?
I did.
302?
I did.
Thank you. So we have a motion. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Alrighty. Any questions or discussion for Controller McIntyre?
Kevin, as always, thank you. Putting this together and doing the work you're doing daily. It's appreciated.
So, does anyone else have any questions or discussion? I know when we spoke this morning, just to get clarification that revenues where they're being accounted for, they needed to come into the general fund to be accounted for, right?
Yeah.
ARPA dollars.
The amount of revenues that we're going to recognize is higher than we budgeted, or that I put in my original budget. And mostly it's because sale of fixed assets, we generally don't have tons of assets that we're selling. So I put about $10,000 as just sort of a placeholder that we could sell. But because we sold several properties, the budget needs to be amended to reflect that we sold that stuff. Same thing with grant income. I didn't know when we passed our budget how much of our ARPA dollars we'd be expending or using at different times, so I did not put those numbers in there. So that's why those revenues need to go up. They're money that we didn't expect to get, but now that we have it, I just need to reflect it in the budget that they're increased.
So in those revenues, 450,000, that's,
That essentially is ARPA and the
All
different, amounts that we're going to recognize and that we've spent on other things, but now we just need to recognize the revenue.
and you're gonna bring a report of the ARPA dollars at one of our next meetings.
Yes, I have to do.
Maybe the workshop.
Yep.
That'd be great.
I'll have like a breakout of what it is, what's in there, what's left, and what's actually, because we voted for several different things, and then we voted for something else, so there'll be a reconciliation of all the ARPA dollars.
So if another opportunity for another opioid grant comes up, because they just send it to us, we'll just have to do another amendment?
Yes, so the 150,000 here was just, the original form I got from the state did not have this much. We were expected to get like $11,000 in opioids, but you had went to and got the second round.
I dragged Chief Wangler in there, and we were able to get that, but yeah.
So that second amount wasn't reflected when I did the original budget. So now that we have this another 150,000, I need to recognize the increase in revenue.
So then, the expenditure side, did you have a question? No? The expenditure side is, a lot of this was planned, and you're bringing dollars over from ARPA or GAIN or?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that was spent, again, so for example, the police GAIN budget, that's just it was originally budgeted in the 301, but due to a reporting to continue with the grant, they needed its own department for the expenses. So that just happened this year, so I didn't have that in my budget. So this entire GAIN money is just to put a budget holder in there. I did not go back and reduce all the 301s because this was already long enough to read. There wasn't value for me to go then reduce all the 301 budget by all these line item amounts. So what you would, in that case, it ends up being a wash. The police budget's going to go down by that total, and then the police GAIN would go up by that amount. And it's just all a reporting issue to continue to get the grant money.
The Township Hall and Grounds, 265, in the amount of 62,000 was, we had recognized grant dollars for the trail, the Genesee Valley Trail extension, but we did have to pay, it was a total of 81,000.
Correct.
So you had some in the budget, and we needed to.
I had put in about $20,000 as just a placeholder that we figured we would probably spend. And then when we finally negotiated the final cost of that trail, it ended up being $80-some thousand. So part of the 450 in the ARPA is to recognize that revenue. And then the other half of it is, well, not the other half, but the 62,000 is basically to amend that budget to reflect that line item that we're not really over budget.
So those are all my questions. Anybody else? Questions? No? Hearing none? Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the motion to approve the 2024 budget amendments.
Supervisor Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Leverett?
Yes.
Trustee Vert?
Yes.
Trustee Fabdahl?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Treasurer Klee?
Yes.
Clerk Triplett? Yes.
Action item F is the Carmen Ainsworth Senior Center Improvement Contract. So, did you want to do that? You want me to do it? You want me to do it? Yeah. So we received 100,000, well, we didn't receive it yet. We were notified that the senior centers in Genesee County were going to receive $100,000 of ARPA grants from the Genesee County Board of Commissioners. And it was a long process. And we put out the projects for bid, and we received back 2 bids. And the recommendation is, the bid opening occurred on Thursday, October 31st at 10 a.m. The clerk's office received 2 bids, and the bid opening report is attached. One bid is below the funding being received from the county, and the other exceeds those funds by $5,800. The lower bidder has included all the projects, and you will not have to piecemeal the project. As presented, the lower bidder has included all of the items within the funding that we will receive from the county without additional funds from the township. So while that was written by Tracy, who helped with the bid packet, we have set aside a contingency fund. The senior center has, right, Barb? They have a couple $1,000s over there, and we've set aside $10,000 just in case, but the bid came in below and granted or, if there's no unforeseen issues, the bid was with, to improve the Township Carmen Ainsworth Senior Center. The bid was with Motor City Home Improvement in the amount of, is this right, $99,200? A motion would be in order to move forward.
Motion to approve the lowest contract presented by, or to approve Motor City. He is the lowest qualified, because it's important to say qualified. Bid for the Carmen Ainsworth Senior Center project.
You want to give us the amount?
$99,200.
Is there a second to the motion?
Support.
Any further questions or discussion? I see Mr. Child is here.
Should have him speak. Say.
Is there any questions or discussion? Nope. Alrighty, Madam Clerk, roll call, please. Motion to approve or award the contract to Motor City Builders in the amount of $99,200 for the senior center project funded by ARPA dollars.
Treasurer Clee?
Oh, yes, sorry.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Supervisor Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Vert?
Yes.
Trustee Favdaw?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
And Trustee Leverett?
Yes.
Thank you.
Action item G is a renewal for the phone system maintenance of the phone system. It's a 5-year contract to renew the phone and maintenance. You have the information in front of you, and a motion would be in order to move forward.
Motion to approve the renewal contract for the Flint Township phone system with CTI Incorporated.
Is there a second to the motion?
A second.
Any questions or discussion on the motion? This is a 5-year contract.
Is that what we had before?
Yes, we had a 5-year contract. It ends mid-December.
December, yep.
No questions? No? Mhm. Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the renewal of the phone system contract, maintenance contract. Sorry.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Supervisor Miller?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Trustee Favdaw?
Yes.
Trustee Vert?
Yes.
Trustee Leverett?
Yes.
Treasurer Clee?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't remember.
Supervisor Miller?
Yes.
I
I can say yes already.
All right. Well, this doesn't hurt to get her twice.
Number 11 is our announcements. Our next meeting, as I mentioned, is we have a budget workshop. It's open to the public. It's Monday, next Monday, the 25th at 5 p.m. The next regularly scheduled meeting is December 2nd at 6 p.m. And if there's no other announcements, we will call the meeting adjourned. Thank you.